From the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com, it's time for your favorite Android podcast. Kick back now and enjoy another fine episode from these fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 203 of the Blind Android Users Podcast. We're recording today on Saturday, October the 26th, 2024. I'm Warren from Washington.
John Dyer from Virginia.
Kerin Kiwan from Lebanon.
And it's Salih Kunduz from Turkey.
Welcome to episode 203. We're excited to be here today, and for today's episode, we're keeping it nice and sweet. We will be paying homage to the Android 15 QPR program, and today we're talking about Beta 1.3. Then in the spotlight, we're talking about Qualcomm. This has been Qualcomm's big week, and we can't just ignore that because it's what power our devices. And then following that, we'll be talking about the app of the week, where we talk about the Hermit browser. And then we conclude this weekend's episode with a tip from how to find your device. That's what we have coming up for you. Sally, let's start with you, my man. You found that squeeze yet? What's going on?
Yeah, still on the way, hunting and hunting. Yeah, it's going good here. It's like 57 degrees and raining. Since early morning, we're getting rain, and it's nice to be here and chill with you guys. And how are you?
I'm doing well. You know, unlike you, though, we're supposed to be sunny, and then maybe later on this evening we may have some rain. But yeah, we've had some, weather. It's kind of been like in the 50s, but today I think we're going to be closer to 60 degrees. So a nice change there instead of that white frost on the ground, when you wake up in the morning and everything frosted. So we're looking forward to a nice day. I'm sitting here and I could feel the sunshine, but it's like in and out. But other than that, though, it's a nice fall day. Kerin, girl, where are you hiding at?
Hello, I'm doing well. Everything is life it's just moving, let's say. And as every week, we're hoping for the better.
Nice, but weather-wise, I should push some cold air down your way. I think you like it nice and cold, right?
Yeah, but I told you I want it with snow. Without snow, I don't want it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, both you and John. John, what's going on?
Not much. It was a pretty laid-back week. Probably was in the 60s or 70s most days, so it was nice. I had a good week.
I kind of like the sound of that because for me, when the weather is nice and all of that, it calls for a nice barbecue. Throw that steak out there on the grill and call it good. Yeah, I like that. We haven't done a lot of barbecuing this year, and I think we should, do that. If I have 70s out there just before winter sets in here. And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics. Let's now move on to the Android Basics segment. And this is where we talk about the QPR program that Google just pushed out this week. So it's not just Qualcomm, but everyone is doing a lot of things. And so these are some of the things that are changed with the QPR1 Beta 3 that Google just pushed out. If you have Pixel devices from Pixel 6 to the Pixel 9 series. Some problems that people were having with the Fold especially is that sometimes maybe you open up the inner screen and it goes blank for some reason. So Google fixed that. And then also some people were observing problems wherein if you have a connected Bluetooth device, whether it's a Bluetooth speaker or a headset, sometimes that people were reporting that they couldn't change the volume. And these are some of the things that Google fixed. And there are some 9 items that were fixed. Here are the list of those things. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused notifications to be displayed with some content that was cut off. Fix an issue with system memory paging that sometimes caused devices to crash and restart. That's bad. Fix an issue where some app icons on the home screen were displaying with default system icons instead of the app's icon. That's kind of bad. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused the system UI to crash. Fixed an issue that sometimes prevented users from interacting with head-up notifications. Fixed an issue that sometimes caused the system to crash while taking a bug report. Fixed various other issues that were impacting system stability, connectivity, and interactivity. That's a lot of TYs there. Fix a crash in Bluetooth device get types that occur primarily in the testing environment when Bluetooth resources were reused between virtual device instances. Improved LE audio volume controls by enabling independent adjustment of each connected sync's volume using the UI and limiting volume key adjustment to the primary sync. That's all that was fixed in this QPR. Guys, any comments about this? I don't know if I observed any of those. I'm not even using my 9 Pro XL on the QPR program. Both my 7 Pro and 8 Pro are on that QPR, but I seldom, look at those. John,
Yeah,
are you enrolled in the QPR program?
I was, but I unenrolled when Stable 15 came out. So as of right now, I'm stable only. I just have the 1 Pixel device.
Yeah, because you want to check out what is new in the 15. Well, but this is, going to be like the last one, though, before the full features drop for everyone in December. So this is the 3rd beta of QPR1. And so if you don't want to be part of it, we just have November, and then December we'll have that feature drop.
At least the feature drops have stayed on schedule. As far behind as actual Android itself has fallen, the feature drops have still been released when they're supposed to be released. So that's good.
Exactly. And so we're looking forward to that. And if you have a Pixel device, you'll be getting that in December with all the fixes and some new stuff. The new circle begins again with the 2nd QPR program.
Is it the stable that was causing, or that is still causing, the Pixel 6 phones to break, or the QPR?
It's the stable Android 15 that was causing some Pixel 6 devices to break.
Wow, good one from Google.
Yeah. So much for updates,
What Google didn't say when they promised 3 years of updates is that they actually end your phone's life at that 3-year mark by updating it the last time.
Yeah.
And they will do the same with the Pixel 9 series, which are going to take 7 years of updates. I think like year 5, they will break the devices.
Yeah, and probably most of us will have moved on anyhow. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that, yeah, it's there, but how many people are going to be using it for those years? People
Yeah,
tend
but
to
I
change
don't want
their
my
phones.
device to be bricked, actually. If I don't use it, it's another thing. But to release an update that's causing breaking of the device, this is like, they were having a beta version, and this shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe someone didn't test something on there. It's hard to tell what exactly is happening, but it sure happened.
Hopefully, somebody's
Yeah.
getting free funds out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if people will be able to take the data actually.
They'll find a fix for it. These things happen, but they always find a fix for it. So remember, there was something like that happened. I think it was another Pixel 6, and of course, I tried it on mine. I didn't have the breaking problem on mine, so it's not like it's every phone out there, but it gets amplified.
Yeah, but that wasn't a stable update. This is the difference.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, that to break the devices, but this is not like every Pixel 6 that got break, but a lot of Pixel 6 guys are reporting that. So I'm sure they'll find a fix for it, because you don't want someone to be without their phone that they've paid for. And if you're the one who caused the problem, then you've got to find a fix for it. Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews with developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this week's episode, here's your Spotlight. Let's move on to the Spotlight segment, and this week is the big week in Qualcomm. Of course, we're talking about the chip that powers a lot of our devices, whether it's a mid-ranger or it's a flagship device. This week, of course, Qualcomm's doing a lot of things about the chip. This is the time that they hold that conference every year in Hawaii, in Maui. I've been in Maui like maybe 23 years ago, back in 2001. I'm not sure if I'm such a person that likes islands, but I was there for 8 days, and I think I had enough of it. It was way too expensive. Maybe because I was a poor man, or I am a poor man, I didn't get to, whatever. But Maui, I like it, but gosh, I don't think I was meant for an island. I couldn't be on an island perpetually. John, you like islands?
Not necessarily. I have a cousin who I'm really close with who lives in Hawaii, and unfortunately, I've not been able to visit her. Like you said, it's very expensive.
It is very expensive, and if you don't, I don't know how the locals do it, because everything is so touristy, and I think all the tourists make things expensive for them, but the people always find a way. It's just the same thing when I was in the Bahamas. It was kind of very expensive. But so back to that Qualcomm, so Qualcomm has that new chip that they were talking about, the Qualcomm 8 Elite, and that's supposed to be what's powering our next devices, the flagship devices. And Xiaomi, though, I give this to Xiaomi. Xiaomi is always on it, right on top of it. And they're going to be the first ones to jump onto that chip on the 29th of this month when they unroll the Xiaomi 15. I wish Ed was here, so we'll give him a bad time about the cat. Maybe he could go get another cat and show it to us. But what do you guys think about this? They said it's like 45% better than Gen 8.3.
So it is impressive. I'll say that. Normally, I think year to year they maybe increase it by 20% or something. So it is a higher jump. I don't know. I think it's a bit dramatic to call it the Elite. They could have just called it the Gen 4, but they're trying to set themselves apart, and it does. As far as benchmarks go, I mean, it is looking good. It's right up there with Apple's best chip at the moment.
Yeah, some are even claiming that it beats the Fruitvale, chip. So we'll see what happens. Kind of making me feel like, hey, maybe I should jump ship, because I know for sure Samsung is going to have it, come January when the S25 series rolled out. And I hope that all of them would have that same chip. I think that's what it is, right? That's what the game
rumor
is.
Rumor. I mean, it's not been confirmed, but rumor is they are all going to have this now. No matter what the region. I hope that's the case. I know. I mean, obviously nothing's confirmed at this stage, but rumor has it that no matter what region, the next line of the S25 series will have the Snapdragon 8 Elite in it. And if that's the case, Salah, I'm wondering, will you be upgrading or?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to get S25. I'm like seriously considering it.
Yeah, that's going to
Though-
be quite a performance increase. I'm hoping TalkBack will be even snappier. I mean, I don't have any complaints on my Samsung phone, but
yeah, definitely.
it could only get
I'm
better.
loving the experience with TalkBack on my S23, but from 23 to 25, it's going to be a great upgrade. And given the fact that there is a new processor and there won't be any country limitations, that's definitely going to get my hands on it as soon as it goes. I'm going to pre-order even that. Going to pre-order it just to make sure.
Because this is why you skipped the 24 series, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was
Because
hoping for something big. I told you.
Yeah, so it's really very tempting because and a lot of other Chinese manufacturers jumping on it. I think Vivo or something from Apple, they're also rolling something out at the end of this month as well. And then of course the OnePlus 13 is going to be coming with it. So if you're in the US, for example, you want to have a taste of that, and if you're not a Samsung fan or you're not patient to wait till Samsung rolls out their devices next year, early next year, you could also get the OnePlus 13, which I'm almost positive it'll be coming out before Samsung rolls out their devices, the S series, S25 series next year.
It will come out this year, but probably not in the US. Usually their US launch OnePlus is
a little bit delayed.
January or February. Yeah, so it might be around the same time as Samsung.
Yeah, probably they will do it a bit early after January, and it's gonna first go in China. And yeah, it's exciting still.
Yeah, so we're in for exciting times, and I think there was something also that Qualcomm was talking about, the car thing. So the whole idea of this 8 Elite is that the power is like equal to a laptop. So I mean, this is what people have been looking for a while, right? Wanting a replacement for the laptop where everything is done on their phones. And so frankly, if we have such power on a device, I think it'll be a dream come true for most of the people that have been looking for something like this for quite a while. And I think we're in for a good treat. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I'm a Pixel guy, so unless I jump ship temporarily, just to experience the other girl,
Well,
so to speak.
speaking of the power, I'm sure, like, since Android offers a lot of opportunities to work on the go, this new chip is going to make things way better. I mean, definitely, it's going to be a game changer.
Well, I don't see myself replacing my laptop, even if I have a high-end phone, and even if it is like an S25, for example. I don't think that I will be replacing my laptop because I think there are things that, especially with word processing, we still need a lot to be done on. I mean, as a blind person, I'm not talking in general here, because we don't have like something which is similar to what Office from Microsoft gives us on the laptop. So I think for me, I'm still like I'm okay with a weaker laptop if compared to my phone, but I'll still use it.
I don't think it's only us blind people, my dear girl, because I think when it comes to all that productivity, you can't beat the laptop or the computer. It makes a lot of things a whole lot easier. And we keep hearing, they're going to replace laptops or computers are going to be gone. But I think we have them here for a long time before we actually get rid of those. I don't know. Maybe for a long time before we say goodbye to them, because like you indicated, I mean, there are a lot of things that we can do comfortably on a laptop that we can't. Takes a little bit longer to do it on a phone. And looking at you, Word, experience shows, for me at least, is that when I'm doing that document or management on my phone, it's not as smooth as what I have on my laptop. So, for the foreseeable future, I think I'll be using that laptop for a while before I completely switch until something else happens that makes things a whole lot better. But right now, I don't think so. So we were talking offline about, updatability and, OS updates, years of update. Another thing that Qualcomm talks about is that they're going to make it possible for manufacturers to update, or it's going to have an 8-year support of updates. I don't know if that's going to be something that they will be doing for sure. But if they do, then I think it's a good thing. What do you guys think about that? We were talking about the fact that most people would be getting rid of their phones, within that 5 or whatever years. But 8 years sounds good on paper, but I don't think that they would really do it. Or maybe sometimes it's just marketing because it looks good on paper. But because if you keep devices that long and people are not buying it, then it all defeats that whole purpose of them rolling out a new device every year, keeping that cash flow in. So what do you guys think about this? I like it. Don't get me wrong. 8-year support, I'm all for it.
Yeah, so what's happening here is Google is changing their requirements from it used to be they required the vendor partition to be, you could use the same vendor partition for 3 years. Now they're changing that to 7 years. So it should technically be easier for manufacturers to update the OS because they could just update the system part and not have to worry about updating the vendor partition. So it will be easier for them, whether they whether they take advantage of it or not is a whole other thing.
So that's definitely make the Chinese are happy. They're going to be happy. A lot of devices and a lot of devices though, and it will be with a lot of updates coming to their device.
What really sometimes kind of gets me wondering is that if these custom ROM guys are able to support these things, I'm kind of wondering what happens. How are these guys doing these things? Yeah, definitely some things don't work as normal or whatever. But still, though, because if I'm looking at an 8-year device or maybe a 10-year device, and those guys are able to, breathe new life into those things with a newer OS, and it leaves me scratching my head. What's going on here? Is someone trying to, keep that moolah flying out of my pocket, or what's going on?
Let me say that, those people do custom rooms and they really turn those old points coming alive. But some certain features are not working exactly as they should. So you don't see them as they advertise, okay, I'm running Galaxy S3 on Android 15, but something is not working there. Like you cannot really do basic stuff. Though it's working with Android 15, something is not working there. So it's technically not really an upgrade.
But at least, though, it kind of gives you that little taste of that newer device. Because, I mean, that's the Galaxy S3 that you just mentioned was, I think it died on, maybe Jelly Bean or Kit Kat? I don't remember. I have one sitting somewhere. I don't remember what it has. Yeah, so when you look at things like that, it's kind of, so it's a balance between the devil and the good guy, and I would rather see them kind of supporting it in some sort of way to where we get a little more of support for the OS. But going on forward, most devices now, or most manufacturers, I should say, will at least, for the most part, give us a 5-year. I think even Motorola came out saying they are going to do some 5-year updates. So we'll see how that pans out. But I don't think with Motorola, we've got to see it to prove it, right?
Yeah, speaking on the marketing side, you said, they'll it's gonna get a 7 years of upgrade. How they're gonna sell new phones? They need to do something interesting to make it sell. Like imagine Apple, in the other side of the sea, they're really giving a lot of updates to their phones, but they're still selling huge. So this is what's going to happen for the other manufacturers, I guess.
Yeah, so the whole idea is that, give us updates. People will still buy new phones, even if you give us,
Yeah.
many years of OS support, because not everybody wants to be using yesterday's wine. A lot of people would like to get what is new on that newer device, because some certain things are only available with certain chips, right? We're talking about the 8 Elite, for example. Maybe some things,
Mhm.
that, especially the AI, will be more improved. A lot of AI would be offline, so people would want to be able to take advantage of that, and so they'll have to buy that. So
Y-
it's not like a wall between people and buying new devices if you give us more years of updates.
Yeah, the truth is that I don't think the reason people get a new phone, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think the reason people get a new phone is because their current phone is not getting the new version of Android. Like, so, like, I don't know that people are like, oh man, my phone doesn't have Android 15 this year. I guess I have to buy a new phone. Like, if you either want a new phone or you're not, I don't think that's the reason. So, yeah, I don't think they have to be worried about those people not buying new phones because they have the most recent version of the OS. I think very few people buy new phones for that specific reason.
Actually, many people don't know actually what is the Android version that they are running and if it is the latest version or not. So let's be here trying to be realistic. Actually, many people are not aware of the updates and what they are giving them and the current developments.
You are
Yeah, I
right,
think
Erin. I've
a
always
lot of normal people don't even want to, like my parents, when they see an update, they're like, "Oh man, this is gonna break my phone." Like when my parents they use iPhones and they're still on the iPhone 8. Like so they haven't gotten updates for a year now, and like they're living their best life because they're not being bothered. They're not being bothered to update their phones anymore. Like that's how normal people look at this stuff.
I've always said that, a lot of people, it's only those of us who are enthusiasts that tend to do this, or, clamor for these OS updates. A lot of people don't, they don't even know that there's such a thing as an update, to be honest. I'm looking at my wife, for example. If I don't do it, she's not going to do it.
That reminds me of my colleague. He was doing something in his banking app, and suddenly there was an update. He said, "Oh, there's an update again. Oh, come on."
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. So it's just those of us that are into the we know too much, and sometimes they say, "What you don't know doesn't hurt you," right? So the average Joe out there on the street, frankly, doesn't give a rat about updates. They don't even know about updates. I'm looking at my neighbor across the street that I help out from time to time with his device. He has no clue, I mean, he was running the J7 from like 2017 until last year, the thing fell apart and he got a new one. So it's just one of those things. People are able to, watch their YouTube clips. They're able to send their text messages, take that occasional phone call. Now, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, for those using the Chinese phones, I'm asking what phone do you use? They only know the brand. I'm using Oppo. I'm using Xiaomi. Yeah, what's the phone model? I don't know.
Yeah, people don't give a rat about that.
Yeah.
See, and like I said, it's just us, the people that know too much. It becomes a problem. You lose
Exactly.
sleep during the night because you're thinking, "Oh, I don't have this great phone from Xiaomi, or
Yeah,
don't
dreaming
have
of
this
S25 all day.
S25 Ultra is coming on," and we're all salivating as to when it's going to come and am I going to be able to get it and all of that. A lot of people don't give a rat. Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your app of the week. Let's now move on to our next segment, and we're talking about the app of the week, where I talk about the Hermit browser. Here's that demonstration. Hi, for episode 203, app of the week, this is demonstrating the Hermit browser. I came across the Hermit browser back in 2016, and thanks to Jacob of our email group who brought this to the forefront again, I'd totally forgotten about it, and today I would like to demonstrate this app for you. I'll be using the Acapella TTS engine, and for the voice variant, I'll be using Will. I am on the play page of the web browser, the Hermit, and I do want to mention here in passing that the Hermit is not necessarily like any of your traditional browsers. While it consists of the traditional browsing and all of that and adding a lot of things to it, the focus also has to do with the fact that you can create progressive web apps, that's PWAs, with this app. For example, there's a web page that you'd rather work with it as though it was an app. You could use this app to create such a PWA. I will now move to the about of the app so that we can hear the description of the app, and the app description actually tells you everything that you need to know, and thereafter I'll simply be taking you through the tour of the app and showing you around and what is contained within the settings and all of that. For now though, here's the description of the app.
About this app, heading Google Play Store, Hermit, Lite Apps Browser, details. Advanced web browser for power users, optimized for light apps and privacy, better than native apps. Light apps take up almost no space, best for low storage devices. They don't run in the background, which saves battery. User scripts, run your own custom extension scripts. Content blocker, block ads, malware, misinformation, and targeted propaganda. Built-in and customizable, you can pick what to block. Better than traditional browsers. Compare Hermit with traditional browsers. https:/hermit.chimbori.com/features/compare. Each Lite app opens in its own permanent window, not a new browser tab each time. Links clicked in other apps can be opened directly in Hermit Lite apps. Settings, permissions, themes and icons are saved separately for each Lite app. Share links from other Android apps to your Lite apps. Sandboxes, multiple profiles/containers. Hermit is the only Android browser with sandboxes, isolated containers with multiple profiles. Sandboxes keep your web browsing isolated in separate containers. Use multiple accounts, all active at the same time, in the same browser. Keep work accounts and personal accounts separate. Ideal for privacy-invasive social sites. Use permanent incognito mode for sites that offer free content to new users. Advanced browser for power users. It takes a bit of learning and understanding to use Hermit effectively. We're here to help. Getting started guide. https://hermit.chimbori.com/help/getting-started. Help articles and FAQ. https://hermit.chimbori.com/help. Privacy plus no ads equals paid premium. Thanks for supporting the active development of a privacy-friendly app designed for power users like you. To continue investing in new features for many years, we charge money for our apps. Unlike other browser makers, we are not in the business of selling ads or your personal information. No advertisements, no personal data collection, no behavior tracking, no shady SDKs in any of our apps. Most features can be used for free. Advanced browser features. User scripts, run your own custom extension scripts. Reader mode, article extraction is done on device to protect your privacy. Dark mode, great for late night reading. Fast and private, browse fast by blocking advertisements and other harmful content that slows down your phone. Multi-window, use 2 Lite apps at once on supported devices. Double back, ever got stuck because the back button takes you to the same page? Try Hermit's double back feature. Backup your Lite apps. Custom backup solution when moving between devices. Custom user agent, mobile, desktop, or any other custom user agent. Atom/RSS feed notifications. Get immediately notified when a website publishes new content. Web monitors. Feeds not supported. Hermit can monitor any specific part of any web page and notify you when it changes. Unlimited customization. No other browser lets you customize so many settings. Custom icons. Pick any icon for your Lite apps or create a custom monogram. Custom themes. Create your own themes for any site. Text zoom controls. Change and save text zoom settings individually for each Lite app. Desktop mode. Load desktop sites instead of mobile sites. Full screen mode. Focus on your content. No distractions. Customizable content blocker can block ads, malware, and misinformation. You pick what to block. Need help? Seeing an issue? Contact us first. We are here to help you. But we cannot help you through reviews because they don't include enough technical details. Contact us through the app and we'll make sure you are happy.
And that's the description of the app. Let's now take a listen to the history, in other words, when it was first introduced and what the version number is and all of that before we go back to the main page and install and get going on the tour of the app. Here's that info.
App info. Version 27.0.1. Updated on August 30th, 2024. Downloads 1 million plus downloads. Offered by Chimbori. Released on April 29th, 2015.
And that's both the description of the app and the app history. As you can hear, there's a lot of information about the app, and frankly, that saves me time, and all I'll be doing is basically taking you through the tour of the app, the UI, the buttons, and all of that, what is accessible and what is not accessible. I do want to, however, mention here in passing that you can purchase the app as a one-time payment of $8, or if you just want to purchase some certain features of the premium features, you could pay for $1.99 for certain features. But if you want to get every feature, it's like $8. I'll now navigate my way back, though, to the play page or the installation page so we can install it and get going.
Play Store. About this. Install button. Pending. Verified by Play Protect. Navigate up button. Hermit Lite Apps Browser. 94%. 98%. Installing.
There we are. It has been installed, and now I'll tap on that. Open.
Open button in Hermit Home button out of list.
Upon launching the app, the first thing we heard was Home, that is landing on the button on top left corner. I do want to mention, though, that there are some buttons here near the top, and these buttons include that one that we just heard, that is the Home. And then moving, going right from there, we've got
Search or type URL edit box.
This is where you will type to go to the address you're looking for. And to the right of that is
Button. Detected icon list.
It's basically a button that's not labeled, and TalkBack is doing the heavy lifting and simply says list. To the right of that,
Settings button.
Is the settings button. That's all in the way of buttons that we have there near the top part of the phone. And now below that, we have a little more information, and that simply says
Better than traditional browsers. Each Lite app opens in its own permanent window, not a new browser.
Basically kind of telling you some of the things it said earlier in the description. And to the right of that is the close button.
Close button.
Now below that, though, we come across
Compare button.
We have the compare, basically compare it with other browsers out there. And below that,
Create your first Lite app now. By using this app, you agree.
We come across a header with text strings that say create your own first Lite app. And below that,
Create a Lite app button.
Create a Lite app. Scrolling down some more, we come across
Open links in Lite app. To open incoming links from other apps in the right Lite app, Hermit must be set as the default browser.
And below that, we have a button that simply says,
Set as default browser button.
and then below that, before we move to the last button there,
Lite apps.
Lite apps. In other words, if you have apps that you've created, they'll be listed here. Right now, though, I don't have such Lite apps. And then the last button at the bottom right is
Create a Lite app button out of list.
Create a Lite app. Before we come to exploring the creation of a Lite app and all of that, though, let's move back to the top and go into the settings, which probably is the most important one here, as it has lots of customizations beyond your imagination. I'll now tap on that settings found on the top right corner.
Settings button.
Here's the settings and tap.
Global settings.
We heard global settings, and from here, I'm just going to go through the items here. I'm not going to be going into each of them as all of them explain what they are. Here's what I'm talking about, starting from the top and going toward the bottom.
Back button.
The first thing we come across is a back button there on the top left corner.
Set as default browser off switch.
Next,
Lite apps, appearance, notifications, add to home screen, backup and sync.
next,
Sandboxes. Sandboxes keep your web browsing isolated in separate containers.
in other words, this is where you can sandbox a website. Next,
Privacy. Save passwords, clear cache, clear cookies.
next,
User scripts. Run your own custom user scripts on any page. Install from various sources online or create your own.
next,
Content blocker. Block ads and malware.
next,
Tracking protection. Protects your privacy by removing tracking parameters from URLs. Off switch.
next.
Premium features. Heading.
We now come across the premium features, and as I explained earlier, if you want, you can just buy the whole thing for $8, or you could buy certain features of the premium feature that you want without necessarily buying the whole bundle. Here's what we got under that heading of the premium features.
Premium. Enjoy access to all premium features forever with a one-time purchase. Enlist.
Next,
$7.99 button.
that's how much it would cost you. Next,
Multiple profiles / containers. $3.99 button. User scripts. $1.99 button. Tracking protection. $1.99 button. Content blocker. $1.99 button. Backup and sync. $1.99 button. Custom user agent. $1.99 button. Print. $1.99 button.
and that's the last of those premium features. So as you can see, it could add up, but if you want, you could just buy it for a one-time for $8. Next, we come across,
Connect with us. Heading out of list.
and below that,
Help. Get advanced tips and tricks from experts.
next,
Send feedback.
next,
Rate this app.
next,
Enjoying this app? We appreciate your support in every way. Enlist.
and below that is basically if you want to make some donation, they have some suggested donations. It's like buying a cup of coffee, buying some pizza or whatever.
$1.99. $4.99. $9.99. About. Follow us for updates. Terms of use. What's new? Out of list.
And that's the last item. I'll now go back though to the menu eye of the app.
Home button.
And before we bring this to a close, let's go ahead and take a look at that last button at the bottom right, which is the Create Lite Apps.
Create a Lite app button.
Tapping on creating a Lite app, and if you put your finger near the top in the middle of the phone, you're going to hear Unlabeled button.
Unlabeled.
It says unlabeled. And I do want to mention here in passing that at the bottom on the right edge of the phone, we've got some 3 buttons that are stacked above each other. And if you're an explorer exploring through, you're going to hear that unlabeled that I'm sitting on now bleeding into those buttons, even though they have their own label. And so if you want, though, the good news is that you can actually label this button. The button here is basically saying list of Lite apps. So in other words, that unlabeled button there is list of Lite apps. So I'm going to create that label.
Unlabeled.
And now you could either swipe down and curve to the right to bring up the talkback menu, or you could tap with 3 fingers to bring up the talkback menu and find the add label.
Talkback menu. Add label in list.
And I'm going to tap here.
Label text. Add label. Label text. Edit box. Showing English. US. QWERTY.
And I'm simply going to label this as list of Lite apps.
Use assistant voice typing.
List of Lite apps.
Voice typing stopped. Use assistant voice. OK button. Keyboard hidden. Hermit. List of Lite apps.
Now, if I move my finger down, you can hear that bleeding into those other buttons because the separation is not done well.
Create your own.
So the first button there is create your own. And if you're a swiper, you wouldn't even notice any of that bleeding. And the reason is because the label is labeled to the left of the button. The actual buttons are to the right, and the labels are to the left.
Create your own button.
We got the create your own, and below that,
Ready-made Lite apps button.
ready-made Lite apps. In other words, if you tap here, you're going to see apps that have been pre-made, and you can choose from them, and they've got them into categories like news and tech and all of that. And the last button at the bottom,
Create a Lite app button.
create a Lite app. Let's go ahead though and tap on that list of made apps. So in the event that there's any in here that you would like to use, you could pick to add those to your home screen.
Ready-made Lite apps button. Back button.
I am now in a page or on the screen with the already made Lite apps. And some of these, there are literally tons and tons of those. And the whole idea here is not for me to go through each and every one of those, but you could go in here and look through the list and see which ones you like. But some of the apps here, or pre-made apps here, include some of these.
Google. Reddit. Link. Amazon. Google Maps. LinkedIn. Wikipedia. CNN. Axios. BBC. IMB. Link. Reuters.
And it goes on and on. I've seen even things like Android Police, Android Authority,
Detected
and
image.
other
Reuters.
apps in there as well. But that's a quick overview of the Hermit web app. If you like it, you can go ahead and get it. Like I said, it's very useful if you have a phone that has limited storage, as this saves you a lot of storage and all of that. But on the whole, I like the app, and thanks to Jacob for bringing it back to the forefront. And with that, I come to the end of this short tour of the Hermit app. Thanks for listening. And that's it. You know, the Hermit browser there, it's a kind of different browser. A lot of customization, though, if you're into customization and all of that. But, you know, especially the strength of it has to do with, you know, if you have a budget device and you don't have a lot of room on your device and you want to be able to use many apps, this probably would be the way to go. I know that like a year or so ago, or a little over a year ago, I demonstrated something similar. Basically, they were copying these guys. I think that one was from a developer called Elway. It's on our YouTube as well. But yeah, check this Hermit browser and see if it's something you like. It's $8. I would rather pay $8 than buying only a feature for $2 and then buy another one for $2. By the time you get 3 or 4 of them, that's a lot of moolah. So that's what that is.
Have you tested the Lite apps? I mean, have you tested to try one of them and see what's the accessibility? Because you were just showing us the main interface without showing us anything else in the demo. So what about the tests?
Yeah, I didn't test. Like I said, I've had this since 2016, and frankly, thanks to Jacob for bringing it to the forefront. I didn't test it with one of the apps, but I went through the process of creating one, and it was very simple to create one. I don't think that the accessibility would be any difficult. I'll have to check on that
Does this
again.
run on
to see.
Chromium?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it should. I mean, you never know, right? But it should work fine. I think I've used it's been a long time since I've used it, probably a year or two, but it did work when I tried it. But since Chrome, I stopped using it since Chrome lets you do this now. I have web apps installed to my home screen just using Chrome, and I love it. I mean, it's just so convenient to have a website that you can treat as an app. Like, it doesn't open up in a tab on your browser. It opens up its own window that you can close in Recents or navigate it like it's an app. And it's even better than some apps. Like, just because it's a website, it can be more accessible than the actual app. Like, I have an Amazon web app on my home screen rather than using the Amazon app, because the Amazon app just annoys me. It's so much easier to use the Amazon website, which I just have saved as a web app. I can navigate by headings, controls, links, all that, and I can get to what I want much faster.
Yeah, so I think it will just be the same idea. And like I said, it's good for people that, maybe don't have a lot of storage on their phone. So I'll be playing with it today when we're done with the podcast and see what I observe. But I don't anticipate any problems. Up next is the tip of the week. This is a feature where we show you a trick or two on how to use some certain feature on your phone or some other feature in a given app. And now for this week's episode, here's your tip of the week. And now, to close this week's episode is the tip of the week. So we're talking about device finders from Google. And here is that little tip on how to go about enabling those device finders. Hi. For episode 203, tip of the week, this is demonstrating the Find My Device, remotely lock my device, or remotely erase my device. I'm demonstrating this on my Pixel 9 Pro, and we go to System Settings, and below the accessibility is the privacy and security. Here's what we do.
Security and privacy. App security and privacy. Navigate up.
From here, what we need to tap on is
Device finders. Find my device. 8 of 17.
This is where we tap. And by the way, I'm using the Acapella TTS engine for this demonstration, and I don't remember the chosen voice variant that I'm using. Some guy, though. We'll tap here.
Device finders. Navigate up. Button.
Now that we're on this screen, what we're looking for is an item that says
Find my device. On. 5 of
and
7.
we tap here.
Find my device. Navigate up. Button.
We're now on this screen with several items, and I'm just going to go through them and not necessarily going deep into them, but at least gives you an idea of what you want to do when you need to find your device. Here are the items that we find on this particular screen.
If you lose this device or any connected fast pair accessories, you can use Find My Device to locate them. 1 of 7.
Moving
In
down.
list, learn more about Find My Device. Use Find My Device. On. Switch.
And so here we have an on-off switch here that if you turn it on, that is the Find My Device is turned on. And then below that,
Remote lock. If this device is lost or stolen, you can lock it using your phone number. 3 of 7.
as you can hear, this is not turned on. We have to tap here and it'll give us an explanation on what the feature is and offers us the ability to turn it on or off. Here's what I'm talking about.
Remote lock. Navigate up. Button.
Now let's hear
Out of
some
list.
info on what the feature is.
Use remote lock. Off. Switch. When remote lock is on, you can lock your stolen device's screen with just a phone number at android.com/lock. 3 of 4.
Okay?
Keep in mind, your device must be online. If your device is offline, its screen will lock automatically once it's online. After your screen is locked remotely, it can be unlocked with your screen lock. The screen can be locked remotely up to twice a day. 4 of 4.
There we go. Now, let's go ahead and tap on the on-off switch above this.
Use remote lock. Off. On.
That is now set to on. Now, I'm going to go back.
Find My Device. Remote lock.
Next, we come to
Find your offline devices. With network in high traffic areas only. 4 of 7.
we now come across finding a device offline, and it says with networking in high traffic areas only. So basically, if you tab here, though, you'll have other choices that you'll choose from. Here's what I'm talking about.
Find your offline devices.
And here are the options that we find.
To help locate this device and your fast pair accessories when offline, Find My Device can use encrypted location info sent by this Android device and others in the Find My Device network. Find My Device can also use the network to help locate this device when it's powered off or out of battery. When your Android device participates in the network, it securely sends location info of devices it detects nearby to help their owners find them. 1 of 6. In
And
list.
here are the options
6
that we
items.
find.
Learn more about the Find My Device network. Not selected. Radio button. Off. 2 of 6.
You could turn it off if you don't want to use the feature. Next.
Not selected. Radio button. Without network. 3 of 6.
That's another choice. Moving on to the next radio button.
Selected. Radio button. With network in high traffic areas only.
And that's the one by default. And here's the explanation of that particular choice.
Look at using starred recent locations or the network in areas like airports or busy footpaths. To help find a lost item, location info from your device is used only if others in the network also detect the item.
And then the next one.
Not selected. Radio button. With network in all areas. 5 of 6.
And here's the explanation of that one.
Find My Device offline location info is encrypted with either the PIN, pattern, or password of your Android devices, or with your Google password, so only you can see it. It is not visible to Google. 6 of 6.
That's it about how you go about enabling that feature there. Let's go back.
Find My Device. Find your offline devices.
Next, what we come across is ways on how you can use the Find My Device. And by the way, this is something that you can download on your phone. It may be found in a different location depending on your phone manufacturer. But here's what I'm talking about.
Ways to use Find My Device. Heading.
And then below that,
Find My Device app. Open app.
Or
Find
open
my
it.
device web. Open on web.
You
7
can
of
go to the web. And that's how you go about enabling the Find My Device feature here on your Android phone. And again, it may be different at your end depending on the manufacturer. Thanks for listening. All good things must end. Thus, it's curtain drawing time, bringing us to the close of this week's episode. Coming up, though, we give you information on how to get hold of us. And with that, though, it brings us to the end of this week's episode. We do want to appreciate you guys week in, week out. It's been a great one, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. John, though, gives you information on how you can get a hold of us.
To contact us, simply send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. If you'd prefer, you can leave a voicemail by calling +1 307 202 9797. You can join our mailing list by sending a blank email to blindandroidusers plus subscribe@groups.io. You can join our Facebook and Telegram groups or subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links in the podcast show notes or YouTube video description. And you can find all of this information and more at our website, blindandroidusers.com.
And with that, we conclude today's episode. And from me, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.